As the night enveloped the world in darkness, I stood alone in a cemetery, the air thick with an unsettling sense of foreboding. I had come to visit my wife's grave, a sacred place I hadn't dared to return to since her passing. Time sometimes dulls the sharp edges of grief, but other times it sharpens them, as if to remind you of the profound loss in your life. Clutching a bouquet of her favorite flowers in my hand, I approached the headstone, each step laden with the weight of memories of the laughter, the warmth of her embrace, and the empty space beside me that no one could fill. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the gravestones that dotted the landscape. Shadows danced in the pale light, twisting and turning like whispers of forgotten souls. I knelt, placing the flowers gently at the base of her tombstone, my fingers tracing the engraved letters of her name. "I miss you," I murmured, allowing the tears that had pooled in my eyes to spill over. I felt a mix of comfort and unease here, as if the very ground held its breath, waiting for something to happen. Then, just as silence enveloped the cemetery, a sound broke through, a faint whisper that fluttered through the night air, soft yet penetrating. I froze, my heart racing as I searched my surroundings, hoping to find an explanation for the chill that danced along my spine. Was it the wind? No, it felt more intentional, almost as if someone or something was trying to reach me. The words seemed elusive, snaking around the gravestones, taunting me, inviting me deeper into the shadows. "The restless ones," I whispered to myself, recalling the local legends about this cemetery, the ancient tales of lost souls wandering the earth, searching for closure. I dismissed the thought, shaking my head as if to clear my mind of the superstitions that often accompanied such places. Yet the feeling of being observed weighed upon me. The shadows appeared to lengthen and shift as I stood there, unnervingly alive. Determined to push through the fear, I decided to explore, stepping cautiously into the deeper section of the cemetery, illuminated only by the moonlight. Each headstone bore intricate carvings, testaments to lives lived long ago. I felt a strange mix of reverence and dread as I read the names, each one a reminder that death was as much a part of life as anything else. But amidst the stillness, my earlier resolve began to feel fragile. That's when I noticed it, a flickering light in the distance, barely perceptible yet undeniably present. The glow danced between the tombstones, beckoning me with an almost childlike allure. My heart skipped a beat. The stories my grandmother used to tell me about will-o'-the-wisps bubbled to the surface of my mind. A common folklore warning travelers against the dangers of being led astray by mysterious lights in the darkness. Curiosity can be equally wonderful and perilous, I muttered under my breath. Was I really going to follow this light? The rational side of me screamed in protest, while the other part, a raw, insatiable need for exploration, pulled me forward. I took a deep breath and stepped forward, determination coursing through my veins. The closer I got to the light, the more I felt the air around me grow thick and electric, crackling with an energy that was both exciting and terrifying. My heartbeat echoed in my ears as I ventured deeper into the cemetery, the flickering glow seemingly gaining momentum, urging me closer. With each step I brushed against cold stone, the shadows closing in around me, swallowing the familiar paths I once walked. Then, as I approached an old mausoleum, my heart sank. The flickering light disappeared as quickly as it appeared, replaced by a suffocating darkness. I hesitated for a moment, the entrance looming before me like the gaping mouth of some ancient beast ready to swallow me whole. Mustering courage, I pushed open the heavy door, and a gust of cold air rushed out, wrapping around me like the damp embrace of the grave. Inside, everything was still and silent, the air thick with the scent of mildew and decay. My flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing stone walls adorned with crumbling carvings that told tales of an age-long past. I caught sight of dusty coffins lined along the walls, their wooden surfaces worn and weathered. In that dismal moment, a realization struck me. I was utterly alone in this tomb, strapped in a sanctuary of the forgotten. A strange feeling penetrated my mind, an awareness that this wasn't just a mausoleum, it was a tomb. I could almost feel the presence of the souls buried here, their energy palpable and unyielding. The hairs on my neck stood on end as I stepped deeper into the darkness, the musty scent filling my lungs with uneasy familiarity. My pulse raced, not just from fear, but from an odd exhilaration, as though something extraordinary was about to unfold. Then, without warning, a chilling breeze swept through the mausoleum, sending a shiver down my spine. It felt like a whisper against my skin, almost pleading, as if the walls themselves were whispering secrets long forgotten. The silence stretched thin, and suddenly I heard it, a faint, disembodied voice. It was indistinct, a low murmur that grew louder, rising from the depths around me. "Help us!" the voice echoed, reverberating off the stone walls. I could scarcely comprehend what was happening, my mind racing to grasp the reality of this moment. The hair on the back of my neck bristled and my breath hitched. What in the world was I experiencing? Panic surged through me as I took a step back, doubt consuming me. But the voice grew stronger, a chorus surrounding me, each tone stitching together a desperate plea. "Stay with us, help us," they cried, and my heart seized in my chest. I felt their sorrow seep into my bones, filling me with a sense of dread that threatened to drown me. I turned to leave the doorway behind me, feeling impossibly far, as if I were wading through molasses, my legs refusing to move. That's when I saw it. A figure emerged from the shadows, a dark silhouette standing against the far wall of the mausoleum. My breath caught in my throat and I froze. The air turned icy, the whispers intensifying, creating a cacophony of mournful cries. I could barely process the sight of this apparition, cloaked in shadow, its form wavering like a candle flame in the wind. "Who are you?" I stammered, my voice trembling. The figure tilted its head slightly as if studying me, the chill of its gaze penetrating my very soul. A wave of grief rolled over me, a longing that felt all too familiar but leaden with despair. "What do you want?" "Join us," it whispered, its voice a rasping echo of longing, a hungry plea that sent shivers down my spine. The whispers encircled me now, a chorus of sorrow, each soul seeking liberation through connection, each one tethered to this world by unfulfilled desires. The boundary between the realms had thinned, and now I stood at the precipice, swayed by that spine-chilling invitation. I struggled against the pull, desperation clouding my thoughts. I must go," I pleaded, feeling the weight of my grief and the memories of my wife anchoring me here. She wouldn't want this for me. In that moment of wavering resolve, the figure lunged forward, breaking the barrier and stepping into the light of the flashlight. My heart raced as I gazed upon the face before me, pale and twisted in anguish, eyes dark pools of fear and despair. It was a visage that could haunt even the bravest of souls. "Remember us," it cried out, and as it spoke I could see images flit through my mind, glimpses of lives once lived, of joy and pain, love and loss. The air felt heavy with their stories, pressing in on me, suffocating me with the weight of their unfulfilled desires. I staggered backward, panic igniting a primal survival instinct. I turned to escape, bolting through the doorway and into the open air, gasping for breath as the cool night enveloped me like a cloak. The cemetery seemed alien now, the shadows thicker and more menacing than ever. I sprinted toward my wife's grave, the connection to her feeling like a lifeline amidst the chaos. With every step, the whispers grew fainter, replaced by the sound of my frantic heart. I fell to my knees before her headstone, clutching the flowers as if they were a fragile bridge between this world and the next. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I fought to make sense of what had just happened, had it been real, or merely a manifestation of my grief. I closed my eyes, seeking solace in memories of her laughter, her warmth, and all the moments that filled my life with light. "I am here," I whispered to her tombstone. "Please help me." But as I opened my eyes, a shadow flickered in my peripheral vision. I glanced back, heart racing, and there it was, the figure from the mausoleum, hovering just out of reach, its mouth moving silently as if it continued to scream. With a final sob, I turned back to my wife's grave, desperately reaching for the comfort of her memory. But I felt something, a chilling presence gripping my shoulder, a realization dawning upon me. The veil had been lifted, and the connection between this world and the next had been breached. "Stay with us," the whispers returned, more insistent now, wrapping around me like a suffocating shroud. I gazed into the shadows and saw countless faces emerging from the darkness, their eyes filled with sorrow like mirrors reflecting my own grief. "Remember us," they beckoned, their voices intertwining into a haunting chorus that echoed throughout the cemetery and into my very soul. And so, as I knelt there, vulnerability stripped bare, I understood the terrible truth: some souls cannot find peace because they linger anchored by unresolved pain or heartache. They call out, seeking those who bear the weight of their stories, entwining them in a web from which they can never escape. As dawn broke, casting a faint glow across the cemetery, I stumbled away from the graveyard, forever altered by what I had experienced. I knew I could never return to that place, never again confront the shadows that had entwined with my desperation. The whispers of the restless lingered in my mind, a warning that some doors once opened cannot be closed. Thank you for joining me on today's haunting journey into the lost legends of darkness. If the chilling experiences we shared tonight resonate with you, I encourage you to subscribe and embark on this quest for the truth alongside me. Remember, as you rest your head tonight, that the boundaries between our world and the next are often more porous than we imagine. Stay safe, keep your lanterns lit, and until next time, tread carefully in the darkness.